we still lock our front door. The difference is now when they knock on our door, we let them in and say, sure, we'll be glad to give you that information. That's the difference. When you steal candy from the baby starts crying because you stole it from me. You go, I can't believe you took this from me. But what we do, we open the door and say, come on in. Here's our information. And the word is social engineering. That is the magic word.
HOA Insights is brought to you by 5 companies that care about board members: Association Insights and Marketplace, Association Reserves, Community Financials, HOA Invest, and Kevin Davis Insurance Services. You'll find links to their websites and social media in the show notes.
Hi, I'm Robert Nordlund from Association Reserves.
And I'm Kevin Davis of Kevin Davis Insurance Services, and this is HOA Insights, where we promote common sense
for common areas. Welcome to episode number 88, where we're again speaking with insurance expert and regular co-host Kevin Davis about cyber threat and cyber threat landscape and the insurance protections that associations can use to protect their exposure in this area. We want your association to thrive, so we want you to be well informed about the possible loss exposure at your association. We don't want anyone in our podcast audience to be surprised by what's going on out there. Well, this is a follow-up to episode 87, another one of our popular Board Hero episodes. It's board members like you that carry the entire community association industry on your shoulders, and we want to honor you and our regular board heroes by hearing your inspiring stories. So if you missed that episode or any other prior episode, take a moment after today's program to listen from our podcast website, hoainsights.org, or watch on our YouTube channel. But better yet, subscribe from any of the major podcast platforms so you don't miss any future episodes. Those of you watching on YouTube can see the HOA Insights mug that I have here. I got one with a cartoon on it that puts a smile on my face. And you can browse through what we have on our merch store on our hoainsights.org website or the link in the show notes. And you'll find we have plenty of specialty items for sale like mugs and things like that, and also plenty of free stuff like board member Zoom backgrounds. So as a treat, go to the merch store, find the mug you'd like, and I'll ship that mug free of charge to the 10th person to email me at podcast@reservestudy.com with your name, shipping address, mug choice, and mentioning episode 88 mug giveaway. We enjoy hearing from you, responding to the issues you're facing at your association. So if you have a hot topic, a crazy story, or a question you'd like us to address, you can contact us at 805-203-3130 or email us again at podcast@reservestudy.com. Well, one of those emails was listener Michelle, who asked, I heard about cyber insurance. What's that? We are a 20-year-old, 124-unit single-family home HOA. Does that apply to us? And Kevin, tell us more about this. You're the one who knows.
You know, this is a fascinating topic for me because we see cyber threats all the time and we pay cyber claims for community associations. The problem is this. Most people who live in community associations don't believe they have exposure. Okay? They don't believe that they take in enough money, have enough data, and so they kind of just ignore it. And the reality is this is what I always start with, is say, now, on the board of directors, do you have a CIO, a Chief Information Officer? No, you don't. Do you have an IT professional, security professional on your board? No. Do you have an incident?
We have a hard enough time getting someone to be president.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you have an incident report? If you have a security threat, document? No. You know. Do you have a son or a grandson or somebody who lives in the community that can a go-to person if you have a cyber problem? And the answer to most of those are no, right?
This is going to be a short podcast episode if you don't have some yeses coming up.
But the point is that those are the reasons why you need insurance right off the bat. I mean, okay. You are Robert, you've been doing this for a while. You serve in your community association, right?
Yep.
And we know you have a job to enforce the rules, maintain the association, collect assessments. Well, guess what? The cyber people know that you collect assessments. And guess what? They know you have reserves. And guess what? You have personal identifiable information, sensitive information from everybody who lives there. We could kind of close this whole thing right now. Those are two reasons why, right off the bat, you need it. You don't have the expertise. okay? And the cyber criminals are looking right at you right now, these associations, and saying, not only don't have expertise, but they have both the things we're looking for. Because most cyber threats, most cyber criminals, they're looking for data, okay? Or they're looking for money. At a community association, you have both. You have reserve accounts, operating accounts, you have money on one side, and then you have people who live in that community association with checking account numbers and driver's license numbers and all that kind of stuff. So it's a treasure trove of information for the cyber criminals.
Okay. All of a sudden, my heart just sunk because I remember thinking 5 or 10, 15 years ago where we had, it seemed like a wave of managers stealing money from their association clients.
Yes.
And the reason they were doing it, it was because it was like stealing candy from a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Because the board members, just like you're saying, they weren't looking out clearly. They weren't acting with a defensive posture. And the money was there for the taking. And I imagine it's still going on to some degree, but is it as simple as there are bad actors out there? And just like you say, association collects data, association collects money, they have information. And community associations, is it still like stealing candy from a baby?
It's worse than that, okay?
Oh, yikes.
Stealing candy, you said 10 years ago, right? They were doing these things. What's happening now, we have things like AI, which makes it easier to get the data that we need from board members. And with the problem that community associations have is that they give all the information to the property managers and believe once they do that, they have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, they say, okay, good.
Yeah.
It's their problem.
Yes. And the problem comes from the property management firm because they don't have a chief, information officer. They don't have an IT specialist. They don't have those people either. Hopefully, they have an insurance policy. So let me give you this. Let's say that all of a sudden, I'm a manager of XYZ manager company. I manage 30 associations, okay? And then somebody comes to my office, right, and pretends to be, a UPS person or a tech person, and they come to my office, they see my server over there, okay? And they pretend they are the UPS, and they come out, I got the packages for you, where you go? And I see the server unit. I either A, take the whole server out, or put a thumb drive in, a USB drive in it. Now I have data access to all 30 associations. Now, you're the board president of Happy Valley Community Association, and I'm the president of my management company. I say, Robert, we have a problem. I've been compromised. The
Right.
30 associations. Now, you expect to hear from me. Don't worry about it, Robert. I'm taking care of it, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm going to say is that, guess what? I don't have an insurance policy, so I don't know what to do now.
And I think your information and that of all your 100 homeowners has been stolen.
Yes. And that's the bad news. The bad news is that all the information was stolen, right? The good news is I'm taking care of it. The bad news is I'm not taking care of it.
Okay.
When you say I'm not taking care of it, now all of a sudden, what do you do, Robert? Now all of a sudden you have 100 units in your community association. You got a call from me saying, oh man, I've been compromised. Okay. All my information is gone. All my associations, and I don't know what to do about it. I'm letting you know so you can take precautions. That's the problem.
Okay. I guess a couple of thoughts stirring around in my brain. One is, we're talking about community associations, and you said it's easier than stealing candy from a baby. And that's probably true because every few months I get a notification from some company saying, sorry, Mr. Nordlund, our servers have been compromised and they probably stole your information. We don't know if they did, but they might have. And so we're going to offer you 3 months of some online security service. And I'm not, okay, that's a dark path. And the other thought is, nowadays, management companies are physically smaller because they don't have boxes and boxes and boxes of information. They used to have files that a bad guy could literally grab and walk out with to steal information. And now this information is more and more online, whether on OneDrive or Dropbox or anything like that. And bad guys can come in and just grab your file. So just as you would want to...
It's easier now to do it. Yes.
Yeah, because
that's the point.
I guess in the olden days, you would lock your front door and feel reasonably secure. And now, you can lock your front door, but not everyone is locking their data door effectively. And so there's paths in. Is that it?
No. I said it was easier, and this is the reason why it's easier. Okay, we still lock our front door.
You're not getting a blueprint for bad guys here, are you?
Okay, no. The bad guys know this stuff already.
Oh, okay.
The bad guys know this stuff already. We still lock our front door. The difference is now when they knock on our door, we let them in and say, "Sure, we'll be glad to give you that information." That's the difference. When you steal candy from a baby, the baby starts crying because you stole it from me. You go, "Oh, I can't believe you took this from me." But what we do, we open the door and say, "Come on in. Here's our information." And the word is social engineering. That is the magic word.
Yeah. Is that, and we've talked about this before, I think. Is that like the email I get for me, I get it from a manager that I'm not directly working with, and it says, click here for the proposal, or click here for this. And it's someone spoofing them, and they're looking to get into my computer.
Yeah, I go one step even further. Again, this is what I'm saying is easier than this, okay? What it does is goes after either our greed or our sympathy, okay?
Yeah.
In other words, they'll say, guess what? Click here and you just won X, Y, or Z. Or you want free tickets, okay? You want free tickets to a concert. Just click right here. And then we go, sure, we got it. Now they're in your system. So we open the door and let them in. So we click, or what we do is have to go, you better do this now or else you're going to lose. Now, here's the perfect example in the management company. Management company gets hacked. All the emails are stolen.
Yep.
Okay, got all the emails. So what the first thing that person does is send emails to all their clients and say, you are late in your payment. Please pay now and avoid any late fees. Here's my new bank and routing number.
And all of a sudden,
that's it.
30 associations times 100 units each. So we're talking 3,000 people are sending anywhere from $50 a month to $500 a month to the bad guys.
It's to the bad guys.
Oh, gee.
That's what I'm saying. It's easier now than it was before because we open the door. We have locks and everything still there. We update our systems. We do all this stuff. But because of our own greed or because of who we are as human beings, when somebody says, I need your help, can you please respond to this immediately? And then all of a sudden, we're so busy, we don't look. UPS, you get these UPS things all the time, fake ones. Say, guess what? You left this and you forgot to give me your forwarding address. So you left this and it's all fictitious.
Yeah.
What I get all the time is that somebody from my office will get a note from me when I'm traveling. I'm on LinkedIn. Guess what? I'm in Vegas for a conference. And they'll send an email to my comptroller and say, oh, Kevin needs, 20 gift cards. Can you send them immediately? You got the same problem. Your name's on the door. They find out who you are. And all of a sudden somebody's calling you. No, I never asked for gift cards. I never did that. That's why what we're doing now is so sophisticated. And you're talking about a frequency that's unbelievable because we make it easy for people to take our money and our data.
Because we end up volunteering it to them.
We give it to them.
So that's a problem because it's not stealing when we give it to them. Oh, geez Louise.
Yes. And now from an insurance point of view, that's been the biggest problem for us in insurance because, well, if you gave it to them, that's not really a theft. You gave it to them. And so we had to rewrite an entire insurance policy to help people out in those situations. It's the number one problem. And I would say right now, most people do not have coverage for that because you gave it to them.
Yeah. I guess the YouTube people can see me. I'm sitting here with my arms crossed because I'm all tense. The emails that get me are the ones that say, I'm a manager at this management company and click here to submit a proposal for a reserve study. And those are so tempting because that's in my line of business. And I grab my phone, don't have it with me as I'm grabbing my calculator, grab my phone and say, hey, Susie, I just got an email from you. Do you really need a proposal? I said, oh no, my computer's been hacked. Do we need to train everyone to do that, to make the phone call?
That is the most important thing there is, to make that phone call. I mean, you said that you gave the number one answer because what happens with all these spoofed emails, again, social engineering is a term, is that all you have to do is make that phone call and say, wait a minute, I have an invoice from you with a new banking routing number. Is that true? Without that new banking routing number, it doesn't do you any good until you click on. Don't click or anything.
Yep.
Just call first before you do anything, because the next thing you know, they said, I've been hacked, and then you just delete it. Most people won't make that phone call because why? They're too busy. And then you have a relationship between a manager and a board. So that board member might be one of those board members who, and the manager go, I can't call this guy up. I'm tired of calling him. I'll push the button, and boom, it's gone.
Gee. Okay. So we've got this problem going on. It's a lot of volunteering information. We welcome them in. And you also said earlier, it's additionally troublesome because of AI, which means that something out there knows that I did a speaking engagement here, or I was recently in this city. And so they can make it look pretty darn custom.
Yes.
Yikes.
To the point
Okay.
my voice might be involved in it, or my picture might be involved and manipulate my picture, my voice. It can be so sophisticated. And guess what? You can go right to AI and ask how to do it. You know, I'm doing a seminar on how to do X, Y, and Z, and ChatGPT will tell you, you need to do A, B, C, and D, and you can Google it. How do you socially engineer somebody? How do you manipulate people into giving me that information?
Yeah.
And it's always based on emotions. I need your help. Do this now. We'll give you more money. And you said it before, we locked our door. That's why broke into us, and we feel bad. Now we open the door up, unlock the door, open it up, and give it to them. Most of the claims that we see are because of social engineering. And they can get to the smallest thing, where all of a sudden I'm buying new paintings. You know, I'm the president of my community association, pretending to be, calling the management company up and say, I want these new paintings. I want to immediately, just give me the money. I'll pay for them myself. And then they send money out to them. And again, they keep it low enough where they don't care if it's a couple $1,000s. They won't go $10,000, $15,000 like the gift cards. They'll ask for a couple $100s because nobody's going to check it. Then all of a sudden they go and find out that, wait a minute, didn't you order this? Didn't you ask for this? No. And you go, oh, wow.
Is that also that they're thinking that there's a threshold that under that, they probably won't go to the police. They probably won't go through the hassle of resolving it. And the bad guy will be out easy with 1,000 or 2,000 or 500 or whatever it is.
Yes.
Okay.
The key thing for them is they know what they can get away with before that person goes, I better call first for a couple $100, or maybe it depends on the size of the association. You know, some associations are larger than the other ones. The larger ones have a big problem because some of those larger ones may have a cyber network, but nobody's looking after it. You know, nobody's looking at the passwords. Nobody's looking at all different things that you need to look at in order to make sure things don't go wrong.
Yeah. And if you're at the association, you may be trusting Joe the treasurer, or you may be trusting, I think you said XYZ management company, and they're no more sophisticated than you would have been. What's the most common password out there? Password? There's a half a chance that their password is literally that. So just because you've delegated that project to the management company doesn't mean that they are necessarily more sophisticated or defensible. Easily defended. Well, Kevin, you've certainly got my attention here. But let's take a quick break and get back, and we'll hear about some solutions of what you can do. But it's time to hear from one of our generous sponsors, after which we'll be back with some more common sense for common areas.
Hi, I'm Kevin Davis, the president of Kevin Davis Insurance Services. Our experienced team of underwriters will help you when you get that declination. We provide the voice of reason, someone who will stand by you. Our underwriters bring years of knowledge to our clients that can't be automated by technology or driven by price. As a proud ANWINS company, we bring true value to your community association clients. We are your community association insurance experts.
And we're back. Well, we're here with Kevin Davis talking about the first half of this program was getting me all anxious about the risks out there. And over the break, we were talking about ransomware. Kevin, is ransomware part of this?
Yeah, ransomware is part two of it. Because ransomware is all about getting money. I don't care about the data, because the data, once I have the data, it's hard to make money off that. I want money. I want cash. I want it immediately. So I use ransomware. Now, I said it earlier that somebody goes into the management company's office pretending to be somebody they're not, either downloads information on a USB drive or they take the whole, server. Once they have that information, what they do now is to block the whole thing. They put something in there, or they'll send you a link or something where your whole system is shut down and you need a key to unlock it. The problem is getting that key. You have to be able to go to these, the crazy part about these ransomware claims, okay, and the largest one so far is $75 million. I looked it up. This is today. It happened in March. $75 million in a ransomware. Okay, now, for a community association, it's not going to be that much.
Right.
But guess what? It's still a problem if you have a server, okay? If you have a server, they want to go in there and go after your server by sending you an email. Maybe you heard about the fake USB drive that you stick inside the computer and you can download the information. People are smart enough not to do that anymore. Now, here's the thing that people don't know about. Those QR codes that you line up and put on your phone.
Right.
Some of them are fake and fraudulent. Be careful.
Okay, so that needs to be definitely someone that you trust.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because you put it up there, again, it goes back to the emotions. Get back, click on this now, and you can win, win, win. You click on it, now you're in the system, and now all of a sudden, you're locked down. You can't do anything with your system unless you pay the Bitcoins. And there's a whole industry for this thing. So if there's a claim, because we have claims people handle these ransomware claims, what they do, they call up other claims people and say, have you heard of Bob's, response? No, have you heard of this one? Okay, yeah, they'll give you, pay them the money. They'll give you back the key. They won't touch your data. These are good people. Don't work. They're good people.
Well,
These are honest criminals.
Honor amongst thieves.
Yeah, but you got honest criminals and dishonest criminals. The honest criminals say, you paid a ransom. We'll walk away. You'll never see us again. Then the dishonest ones say you paid a ransom, but we're still going to keep your information. But we're not going to steal. So it is an industry in itself, ransomware. You got to be careful. And they go after the QR codes, the USB. They take your drive. They will do social engineering to get into your system. And once they're in your system, the system's locked. And what they want to do is, guess what? They want a ransom extortion payment. They don't care about the data that much anymore. They just want money right off the bat, and that's it.
They figure that you want to be back in business, and it'll be worth 10 grand or 50 grand or 100 grand or something like that. Okay.
Especially if you live in a new association where everything is linked to your electronics, are linked to your front door, the front gate. Now you can't even get in your front gate.
Oh, yikes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I thought we were going to be done scaring our audience in the first half. Let's turn the corner. What can people do? Where do they get insurance? How does this protect them?
Well, you know what? Before we talk about insurance, this is the easy part. There's a couple things you can do to eliminate these things. Okay. And you name what make a phone call. Okay, just make the phone call. The one thing that we always say is something called multi-factor authentication. Okay, that is the best way in the world. Why is that important? When you say multi-factor, that means more than one. Right now, most of us have one. We have a user ID and a passcode. So when somebody finds that user ID and a passcode, what happens? Boom, everything is gone. If you have multi-factor, that means you have something else. And that means it goes to your phone. That means it's proof that it's your phone, it's you, it's really you. And then you put that in there, and guess what? That eliminates so much of the stuff. So if you're dealing with a bank, you deal with anybody that you are entrusting your data to, have multi-factor authentication. I have like a list of things on my phone. I got banks, work, everything. Yep. They always send me a code, and I put it in, not everything, but the ones I'm concerned about. They give me a code, and I'm happy for it. So that is the most important phone call, and that is the two most important things you can do to limit kind of claims out there.
Is that, again, linking back to the past, even now, we have dual signatures on like reserve accounts. You want that confirmation. You don't want just it to be reliant on one thing. You want at least two. And so it goes back to the basics, multi-factor authentication, or calling the person and saying, hey, did you really? And that's that second factor that makes all the difference.
Yep, that's it. Those are two things right off the bat that eliminate so many claims. If you fill an application for cyber, they will ask you, do you have multi-factor authentication? Will you make a phone call for anything like that? Those are the two most important things that help you to eliminate a lot of stuff we're going on. It's as simple as that. It's not much more complicated. Now, they're smarter and there's still things to get in there, and that's why you need insurance. That's the reason at the end of the day, you can be the smartest person. And don't forget, accidents happen also.
Well, that's it. I think about it.
Happen. Yeah.
You drive safely because it's law, because you want to. You want to come home safely, but still accidents happen. And you and I live in an area where it is periodically windy. And one of these days, a branch may fall down and not land in the road, but may land on my roof. Accidents happen. So we can do what we can trim our trees. We can trim back the bushes away from our house to minimize fire exposure. There's some things that we can do, but I think of insurance is for the accidents that we don't foresee.
Exactly.
Okay.
And one thing you mentioned earlier too about passwords, change your passwords. Okay. I mean, look at these community associations that have been in existence for 20 years. That it probably the same password for the same 20 years. So no matter who comes in and goes, Yeah,
it's the board members. And the password for our XYZ association is XYZ Association 1986.
Exactly.
And it's been that way since 1986.
Yeah. And so that means people who've been on that board still knows the password. Their kids probably know the password, and accidents happen. Some people go in and go, oh, look, they haven't changed the password in a long time. Oh, look what I did. Oh, I pushed the wrong button. Now everybody has the information. So these are simple things that you can do. That changing the password is something that's so easy to do, and make it complicated. But at least change it. If you don't make it complicated, change it once in a while.
Kevin, I've heard for a long time that you should change the batteries in your smoke alarm every time the time changes. Yeah. So that's twice a year. Is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah. Change it, because again, if you don't change it, people will figure out what it is. And also it keeps you on your toes. If you change it every 6 months or change it, you now are aware of cybersecurity. You're now aware that, oh, guess what? I can be tricked into it. We get into ourselves a false sense of security that everything's okay because we would never do anything like that. So we know nobody else is going to do that. Also, too, I'm not that important. I'm not a big guy. I'm not a big shot. I don't have that kind of information. But guess what? We have, they don't care. They want whatever's in your bank account, they want to get. They want to use your online banking to get what you have. That's what they want. They want to target. They want to be able, can you imagine them walking into your bank right now and saying, yeah, give me all my money in my savings account for me right now? That's what they do in online banking. They go in there and they see it and I got it. I'm taking all the money and then walking away. It's just like walking to the bank without a gun. Again, we open the door and let them have the information. And the only thing I do is make a phone call, multi-factor authentication, change passwords, and then we'll be in a lot better shape than we ever were in. And this is us. This is not the corporation. This is me, you,
This is me
us.
And you and our HOA, our association clients. Yeah, these are the simple things we can do. And it's current day locking the doors. These are the kind of things the responsible, and putting what? On our house, we're supposed to have it well lit so there's not too many dark places outside, and lock your doors. And we've learned that for a long time. And now I think
it's like having a neighborhood watch plan. It's like a neighborhood watch. You have a neighborhood watch. That's what we're talking about now. We're saying, okay, let's add neighborhood watch around it so we are aware, so people are aware that we are aware. So when neighborhood watch is around, we know they're going to call us up and go, okay, what's going on? So it's just that awareness more so than anything else. We got to be aware of what can happen, as opposed to, I'm not that important. I don't have enough. I can't worry about it.
Yeah. But then again, the way you've made it clear is that with AI and with the cyber criminals, they are smart people. Yep. And it's easier and easier for them to hit the average person or the average corporation or the average nonprofit corporation because it can be cost effective, even if they're only going to get 5 or 10 or 20 grand out of it. They're in business, and they're going to strike where they want to strike. Okay. Let's talk about insurance.
Yes, insurance. Now, what you have to do is you go and get a cyber policy with somebody who understands cyber. If you're talking to your local agent and saying, I want a cyber policy, can you please find somebody at a cyber that really picks up the exposure we talked about. I worry about ransomware. I worry about social engineering. Those are the two most important things to worry about, because if you have social engineering coverage, Now you're talking about the wire transfer fraud, me walking into the bank, or computer fraud, somebody walks to my office and steal. So it covers those two things you want to get covered: social engineering and ransomware coverage. Now, once you finally get insurance, again, we're talking about for community associations only.
Right.
Because you don't have the exposure that a multinational corporation does, or any corporation does, okay?
Yeah.
Because it's limited. So it's a matter of, okay, if you have a loss, it's going to be in $1,000, not the tens of thousands or $100,000. You should be able to find something for about $1,000, $1,200 to give you the kind of coverage that you need. And that's the key thing, is to look out there, go to I am a community association specialist. You need to go to a community association specialist insurance provider. They will say, I can get you a cyber policy that picks up the things that you need to be picked up.
Yeah. So if you're an association and you've heard this episode and you're a little anxious, you realize, that's cost effective. It's not going to break the bank. And if you call your agent and they say, if that's their first response, then maybe you don't have the right agent.
Exactly. Yes.
Because they should say, oh, yes, there's new products on the market. Let me look into this for you and let me get you a quote. Yeah. Is that?
Exactly. That's exactly what it should be. It should not be complicated. But again, the good news is this: if you do your due diligence, like when you collect assessments, when you enforce the rules, the things you maintain the property. Also, you want to be aware that there's information out there that sensitive information that you're responsible for. It's your fiduciary responsibility to protect that data. If you don't protect that data, and all of a sudden that property manager comes to you and say, oops, guess what happened? And I don't know what to do. Now all of a sudden, you as the board president are saying, maybe I should have vetted that manager first. Maybe I should have a contract with him and say, guess what? If there's a security breach incident, you will be responsible. Because right now, there's nothing in the contract. Nobody has a contract that says who's responsible in the event of a loss. So that means the management company can say, I'll try to work with you. I'll try my best. No, it's in the contract. That's your job to take care of me, So we had to look at those kind of things.
I like that. Well, Kevin, as always, it's great talking to you. Sometimes it's scary talking to you, but it's wonderful talking to you. I find it fascinating. And I think the kind of things that we covered today are just so important, so timely, so helpful. Any closing thoughts to add at this time?
Yeah. Stay calm. Don't worry about it. Do your job and think about it. Just use your common sense. Don't rush. Whenever you see something, before you click, take a step back. Does it make sense? If it doesn't make sense, don't do it.
Yeah.
That's
Make
it.
the phone call.
Yep.
And change your password every once in a while, and dual multi-factor authentication.
That's it.
Cool. Okay, we can do that. Hey, we hope you learned some HOA insights from our discussion today that helps you bring common sense to your common areas. We look forward to having you join us for another great episode next week.
You've been listening to HOA Insights, common sense for common areas. If you like the show and want to support the work that we do, you can do so in a number of ways. The most important thing that you can do is engage in the conversation. Leave a question in the comments section on our YouTube videos. You can also email your questions or voice memos to podcast@reservestudy.com or leave us a voicemail at 805-203-3130. If you gain any insights from the show, please do us a huge favor by sharing the show with other board members that you know. You can also support us by supporting the brands that sponsor this program. Please remember that the views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the hosts and guests, with the goal of providing general education about the community association industry. You'll want to consult licensed professionals before making any important decisions. Finally, this podcast was expertly mixed and mastered by Stokelight Video and Marketing. With Stokelight on your team, you'll reach more customers with marketing expertise that inspires action. See the show notes to connect with Stokelight.